Okay, a good number of concert patrons in Ghana are disgruntled after Wizkid refused to show up at a concert he was billed to headline. The Grammy winner had promoted the show slated for Accra Stadium on his social media handle, but eventually did not show up at the concert venue. While the organizers have apologized to the fans and patrons and alleged that the Ojuelegba crooner breached their contract, Wizkid in his own statement suggested that safety and production issues were the reasons why he didn't turn up for the event. I am now being joined by Ghana-based entertainment journalist Emmanuel Sapong, also known as Olele Salvador on Twitter. Many thanks for joining us, Emmanuel. Okay, you were at the venue of the botched concert on the night. Okay, could you give us a sense of what went down on the day of the event?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on your esteemed platform. And thank you to your viewers who are currently doing the watching. When I arrived, other customers or other patrons had issues with retrieving their tickets or securing their tickets because for whatever reason, when they submitted their emails, they hadn't received any email whatsoever. So they had come to also resolve that kind of situation. Now, there was a golden circle. There was the VIP, there was a regular, and then there was the platinum. Now, what happens is for the regular here in, I don't know how much it's going to be in Naira, but here in Ghana, the regular was going for 275 Ghana cedis. The VIP was going for 620 Ghana cedis. The golden circle, which is supposed to be for the elites, if you may, and the platinum was going for 3,200 cedis, and the platinum going for $8,000. The show kicked off after several hours of waiting. Around 10:47, the first act will now come on stage to perform, and at the end of the day, it led to a lot of dead silence in between performances. It led to a lot of the MCs or the hype MCs trying to hold on to the crowd, trying to hold on to the audience to just keep them active. All the while, we were waiting for ways to come in, but no communication had been given yet. Even though the MCs kept, raving the crowd and telling them, "Look, Wizkid is here. Wizkid is going to come." Blah 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 blah. People were just waiting. Now, if you look at the size, if you look at the size of the stage, it was centered on the pitch. It was centered on the pitch in a way that the artist had, shall I say, the freedom to meet everybody's viewing pleasure. Do you get what I'm saying? But the challenge here was the crowd had now gone to camp at a particular side, leaving the other areas. So if you had paid for a particular portion of the stadium, or you have paid for a particular part of the experience, you are most likely not going to enjoy the artist to fan relationship, because the artists themselves have moved to the other side to perform to that crowd because they felt like the energy was on that side. Now, time went on. You had the Darko vibes, you had Jackie, you had the Asaka boys came. Some of these guys came. They came to hold a show down and everything, all up until 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and then conversations started. Where is Wizkid? Where is Wizkid? Is he going to come? Is he not going to come? Is he going to come? Is he going to come? Then we had intel that some people had spoken to Wizkid directly, telling him not to come. Why? Because the numbers at the stadium wasn't encouraging.
So clearly there were some organization issues, but in your tweet, you suggested that Wizkid perhaps didn't show up because he allegedly had a clause in the contract that he wouldn't perform if the venue wasn't filled. Have you been able to confirm this? Plus, what is the capacity of the venue and how much of it was filled?
So to be very honest, I'll start from the Accra Sports Stadium. So the Accra Sports Stadium is about 40,000 capacity. The Accra Sports Stadium is about 40,000 capacity, and I'm talking about the stands, the popular stand or the regular stands, including VIP, presidential suite, everything is about 40,000. It would be very tricky to give you an accurate percentage of how much that was done or how much that was failed. I would give it a range of I would give it a range of 2 to 3% of that, because 40,000 is a lot. And if you ask me, I think if the stage was not centered on the pitch and it was probably at a particular end of the stadium, the numbers would have looked promising and aesthetically pleasing for videography, if you ask me. And so I don't think we were even able to raise a 10%, crowd number to even meet that of the stadium. And that's for that, like I said in my thread on Twitter, that I hold the organizers responsible for, because you need to know, you need to know your market, and you need to even know how to charge, because you look at the regular was going for 275 Ghana cedis. You look at the economic situations in the country right now, the average Ghanaian cannot, the minimum wage bill for the average Ghanaian is about 15 cedis or 13 cedis, and so if you are looking to fill the stadium, you're not looking to fill the stadium, you're not looking to pretty much sell your stadium with just people who can pay for tables, because how many people can buy that amount for or pay for that amount in getting tables in Ghana? Not a lot, so that's about it with the stadium capacity. In terms of the contract, we cannot confirm or deny if indeed that was part of the contract. I spoke to somebody close to the organizers, because for now the organizers are trying to sort a few legal issues, if you understand what I mean. I don't know if you've seen the press release by the parent organizer, which is Live Up Entertainment. They have come out to say that Wizkid had breached a contractual agreement. We are not too clear what kind of contractual agreements they breached, but like I said, somebody close to them say that it has to do more of being paid, Wizkid being paid to come and perform, regardless of whether the numbers were impressive or not.
Very interesting. Finally, before I let you go, Wizkid has promised another concert in Ghana. How are fans reacting to this?
To be very, very honest, and if I'm going to be very, very, very blunt, I think Wizkid wouldn't have apologized, but for the kickback and for the many comments that were generated after he did not show up. I don't think he would have apologized for any of these things, because even an apology, the organizers were not even acknowledged. Wizkid is saying that he couldn't show up because of safety and production issues. Now, for me as a journalist, I'm not too sure what he meant by that. Does it mean security on stage or security at the Accra Sports Stadium? Now, I'm going to get into that before I even segue from the question you asked me. When the apology came out, I must admit that Ghanaians, thought it wise to say, okay, you know what, at least he's apologized. He said he was going to give us a free concert. No, well, he didn't state whether the concert was going to be free or not. He only promised that he would give us a concert. As to whether the concert is going to be free or not, we are not too sure. Ghanaians had moved on, quote unquote, and the pressure was still on the organizers until hours within the same conversation, hours after within the same conversation, we heard about the case in Abidjan. So now Ghanaians are trying to put twos and twos together. It's the same situation in Abidjan, because the people in Abidjan are equally telling us the same thing, that Wizkid did not show up because of the low turnout. So we are coming back to Wizkid's apology, and now people are suspecting that it was just PR work. Then we saw him perform at Cotonou, and when you look at the Cotonou stage, or you look at the Cotonou environment, if Wizkid indeed is talking about production and safety as the main reasons why he couldn't show up for the Ghana concert, Ghanaians find it absolutely disrespectful. When I look at what he did in Cotonou, the stage in Cotonou, and the security presence in Cotonou, to be very honest, It's just unfortunate that Wizkid will have to use that as an excuse, because barely no difference between the two. And that is where Ghanaians have started to take a second look at the fact that, is he really going to do the concert, or he just had to put something in there to make us feel okay or make us feel better?
Many thanks for joining us on the program today, Emmanuel. We will definitely continue to keep an eye on this one.